Today we're going to be making a round steak with mushroom gravy. Round steak is a lean cut of meat and therefore fairly tough. First you're going to need to tenderize your meat using a meat hammer. As you can see, mine already came pre-tenderized. Last year we bought a quarter of a steer, and in that meat allotment we had some round steaks, so this is the best way I thought of using them in a recipe. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the meat into portion sizes. Next, we're going to salt and pepper each side very liberally. Now let's heat up about 2 tablespoons of olive oil in a large pan. I keep my beef stock frozen in the freezer so it's available whenever I need it. Here's about 2 1/4 cups. Next, we're going to brown the meat on both sides. Now we're going to chop up 1 small onion. Now I'm going to slice up about 8 ounces of fresh, clean mushrooms. I'm using portobellos, but you could use white mushrooms as well. Now I'm going to add about 2 or 3 tablespoons of butter to the hot pan. Stir it around and dislodge any of the little bits on the bottom. Now you want to add the mushrooms and the onions to the pan. You want to stir them around, cook them 4 to 5 minutes until you start to get a little browning on both. As always, feel free to add more butter as needed. Once the mushrooms and onions are showing good color, you want to add about 1/2 teaspoon of ground thyme. Now we're going to add about 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. Try saying that 3 times. Now let's add our beef stock or broth, about 2 1/4 cups. I'm adding the meat into a high-sided baking dish. Then I'm going to pour the mushroom sauce on top, cover, and bake. You want to bake it at about 300 degrees for 2.5 to 3 hours. Now I am going to remove the meat and vegetables and put them in a serving dish. Next, I'm going to whisk together 2 tablespoons of cornstarch and 2 tablespoons of water. Add the cornstarch mixture into the remaining juices and whisk. Next, I'm going to add these juices to a small saucepan to heat and thicken on the stove. I also will usually throw in about a tablespoon of your favorite brown gravy mix to also help in the thickening and flavoring of the sauce. And here we go, a very good looking recipe and tasty recipe and a way to utilize a tougher cut of meat round steak.